Welcome, welcome back to the podcast where I have a guest that I am really beyond thrilled for you guys to hear from. She is just a powerhouse in this network marketing space and has an amazing story. She has a gift of inspiring others, really connecting with others, casting vision, and helping people see what their biggest potential is, and then does an amazing job of just linking arms with them to help them reach their goals. And so, Allison Caldwell, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
It's going to be such a fun conversation. And I just want to hear from you a little bit about what were some things that were going on in your life before you found your network marketing company? How did you step into this space? And then what were those moments that convinced you, okay, this is an industry that I want to be a part of?
Yeah. So the industry actually started for me before the company that I'm with now. So this was years ago when I had my first child at home. And, my husband and I had set aside a certain amount of money and, I'm going to stay home with the baby. And then when that runs out, I have to go back to work. And so that ran out. I went back to work and I was doing a full time job working for the state of Florida at the time. And she was almost two, and I was approached by someone about another company, and I listened to the tape, and that dates it, right? It was a tape,
Right. Yeah. You're like, yep.
It was a cassette. I had to rewind it,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But I listened to that, and I really kind of caught that vision of what was available to just to anybody that wanted to jump into this space. And I was like, wow, this is really awesome. And I thought, I just don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like for me. Like, I have to have this extra income. And I talked to my husband about it. He was very skeptical. We sat down and he was like, you know what? He goes, let's just figure out the money. And we went line by line. Now, granted, like I said, I had, just an almost 2-year-old. She was in daycare full time. So she was sick all the time. I was having to ask my boss, oh, I got to go again. My kid's sick. Like, it was frustrating to have to do that. And they were annoyed that I was gone. I'm like, I'm sorry. She just started daycare. Like, she's sick. I don't know what to tell you. And I kept having to do that. So we added up all the things, doctor's visits, all the daycare costs. And it turns out I was literally going to this job for 40 hours a week, and I was leaving my child. I wasn't the one parenting her, and we were making an extra $200. And I went,
No way. This is the
mm-hmm.
story of so many people. I feel like they're
Yeah.
working to pay for daycare and they're miserable and they're giving their time away to someone else. And then,
Mm-hmm.
wow. Okay. Okay. So
Yeah. And on some
$200.
level,
Yeah.
yeah. And on some level, I think a lot of us know that
Yeah.
when you're in that space, like, you're spending a lot on daycare.
Mm-hmm.
But unless you take the time to sit down and like line item that, I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is not worth it.
No.
And so my husband was like, you know what? If you only need $200, he goes, can you do that in this? And I was like, absolutely. And he goes, go for it. So God bless my supportive husband, love him to death.
Yes.
He was all behind me, and I jumped in, and I was able to quit that job and stay home with her. And shortly after, he joined the military. So this was something that I could also move around. And that was another really big thing for me. Staying in that space was I could take this business with me everywhere I went. That one was a bit more challenging, inventory and all the things. little tougher to move around with, I would say. But overall, just being able to take that with me at each duty station was really, really helpful.
It is a huge perk of this industry that you can quite literally work from anywhere. I love
Mm-hmm.
it. I love that. So how did you transition from that was kind of a company that you were with? You said that you had inventory, which
Mm-hmm.
made it a little more difficult. So how did you come to the company that you're with now?
So there were actually a few in between.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
Because, like I said,
you caught the fire and you
yes,
caught the vision
yes.
for this network marketing space. You caught the vision for probably, and you can tell me, like the flexibility, being able to work
Mm-hmm.
from wherever you want, but also the power of residual income. When people
Yes.
understand what residual income is, I always say, like, if you really knew what that was, you would run through a brick wall to get to it. So, okay. So you dabbled in a few other companies. How did you end
Yep.
up where you are today?
Um, Honestly, because I had gotten to that low point, you know, where you're frustrated and you're defeated. I'm like, it's not working. And I'm always spending more than I'm making. And most of those had inventory
Mm-hmm.
and some of them just didn't really have the best comp plan. So I wasn't making much for the work that I was doing. And I was like, you know, maybe it's great, but maybe it's just not for me. And I was kind of in that space. And I was sharing kind of some health struggles that my family had been through with a new friend that I had met at a run club when we moved to a new place. And I had, you know, no friends, nobody. And we were chit chatting about health. And she says, "Oh, you would love my supplements." I said, "No, thank you. I would not." I was very, very skeptical. It took a little bit, but I was willing to try them. And I was like, okay, I can tell they work. I love this. I was like, but this is not in my budget at all. Like nothing. There is zero room in that budget. There was, you know, charging monthly bills stuff going on
Mm-hmm.
because it was a really tight time for us. And she basically just said, you know, you would really do well by sharing this. And I was like, yeah, I've tried that a lot. I just don't want to. I was like, I think I'm done with that. And she was like, well, I think you'd really be great at it. And I thought, well, yeah, maybe. So I talked to my husband. He was like, no, we said no more. I said, I know. I said, but I have a guarantee. I'm just going to try it. She said she can help me. And he said, all right, as long as you know you can get your money back. And I said, I can. And he goes, do you have to buy a bunch of inventory? I said, I do not. And he was like,
Yay!
all right.
Yeah.
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 So for, you know, a smaller investment, and it was stuff that he understood because we already were kind of in this supplementation world already. He understood what these products were going to do. And I was like, I got to at least try and see what happens because I can't afford them and I got to get them paid for. And so that was where I was able to kind of jump in here. And it was really more of a resistant because I kind of talked myself out of the bigger vision of network marketing for those couple other companies. And then, you know, being here, I was like, oh, I'm just going to prove to her that this was not all it was cracked up to be. And then I went, oh my gosh. And I called her the first paycheck I got. I said, they paid me too much. She goes, no, they didn't, girl. You earned that. I was like, I don't think I did. I was like, I mean, I worked some, but I was like, I've done other stuff like that. I've never made money like that. She was like, no, that's what I'm telling you. This works. And I was like, all right, I'm in. All gloves are off.
Yeah,
Let's
let's
do
go.
this.
This is so important. So, for anyone out there that is maybe considering network marketing, it's so important to find the right company with the
Yes.
right compensation plan. Sure, if you want to be a part of a company that, you know, you're having to stock a ton of inventory, great. That's not for me either. I'm not interested in
Yeah.
that at all. And so, yeah, I think that's so important and such a good reminder for people. And your story is so relatable, Allison, because you know, how many mamas are out there that are desperate to stay at home with their babies? How many people are like that typical American family, literally living paycheck to paycheck, no
Yeah.
margin? And I just wish people knew that this opportunity, this network marketing space, is the vehicle that can get you from that stuck, frustrated position financially in your job to really like closing that gap and
Yeah.
putting you in a position to where, okay, we have a little wiggle room. We can go on date nights. We can buy organic groceries, all the way to, wow, I'm replacing my income, or I'm paying for my car payment. And this is the space to be able to do that. And
Yeah.
it's really, really such a unique industry. And one of the things I love most about this industry is that role of mentorship, that when you jump in,
Hmm.
you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. So share a little bit about how, the way that this business is set up through like, hey, when you jump in, you're linking arms with someone, you're not on your
Mhm.
own. How has mentorship played a role for you?
It's played actually a bunch of different roles over the years that I've been in, but I mean, like I said from the beginning, I was already very skeptical, and I didn't really want to do it because I believed at that point, but I did it because I was like, you know what? I'm going to say, listen, I did all the things I needed to do, and it still didn't work. That was where I was thinking. So she was able to say, I've got these tools, and if you do this stuff, if you actually take these tools that I'm giving you and you use that, it will work. And so she mentored me through all of that, and I was like, oh my gosh, this actually did. Like I said, I got that first check and I was shocked. Um, and then I kept going. And I remember when I called her, and this makes me emotional every time because it was my first paycheck with a comma. The
Oh,
first comma hit,
that's a
and
big deal. Yeah.
it is, and makes me cry every time. Um, I called her. I was like, "There's money left. There's money
Wow.
left at the end of at the end of the
Yeah.
month," and there hadn't been for so long. So it was a huge, huge moment for me with this. Um, and the fact that it was working. And then I was like, well, I know that I can take what I've learned and I can teach other people to do the same things, because that's really all it was. She just taught me some new skills that I didn't have. And I'm able to turn around and take that and pass it on, which is really kind of just paying it forward, right?
It is.
I mean,
Yes.
so you're passing it on, but you're really paying it forward, because that's the whole point, is to teach what you're learning. Because not only is that solidifying it for you, but that's, helping someone else to get what they want. And going through that process of just kind of growing in my business and realizing that that's what it was about, and realizing that it was a matter of kind of continually learning new things and raising that lid and continually passing on that information and helping others. It's been a huge, huge mind shift for me, I guess.
How special is it that we are literally in the business of helping others, right?
I
We are
love it.
in the business of helping others achieve their health goals. We are in the business of helping others just level themselves up, grow, develop personally, get out of their comfort zone and have that, get a comment in their paycheck and beyond.
Yeah.
Like it's just so rewarding. And I love it. I love that you had that mentor in the company that you're in right now, because that helps you to be that mentor for the people that lock
Hmm.
arms with you. So, talk to me about a
Yes.
moment in your network marketing career that really made you feel like, okay, I'm in the right place, either in your company or maybe even in this industry. Because I know you had some
Yeah.
skepticism. So, what was that moment that was like, okay, this is it?
Well, as far as just finding this company and knowing I was in the right place, was just some things that she posted about the product specifically that I already knew, but not a lot of people were talking about, because I kind of came into a gut health space years before I found out about these products. So I was like, wait a minute, how do you know about that? Like, what is this? And she's like, well, that's what our products do. I said, nuh
Yeah.
uh.
We are,
So,
yeah, we're pioneers in gut health for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had that healthy skepticism. So,
Mhm.
like, then I realized, oh my gosh, what if this is what God has been preparing me for this whole time? Like, He gave me these visions of, what network marketing could offer as a business side. And then, based on, like I said, with health things going on in our family, that I was able to learn a whole lot about it. And then I came into the space and I was like, oh my gosh, he's just equipped me for what I kind of already needed, and felt really excited about. So, and a lot of people don't come in with that kind of stuff, and that's okay. You don't have to come in with all this gut health knowledge. In fact, it was funny because I had a lot of knowledge, but I felt like I knew nothing when I got in anyway, because I didn't know the exact things and what each product did. And, I didn't have all those details. So it was still a large learning curve. But I definitely felt like I was in the right place, where I knew that that was a focus that I'd had for a long time anyway, as far as health and improving and gut health specifically. Um, and then, of course, getting that, you know, that ability to help enough people and getting that comma in that paycheck, and then
Hmm.
having that leftover at the end, and then having friends messaging me and going, I haven't felt this good in so long. And I'm like, yes, that's what it's about, is, helping you feel better.
That's such a awesome example of God going before you. Like he had prepared the
Yes.
path. And all you had
Mm-hmm.
to do was, even in the example of like you'd had a network marketing experience before, right? He was kind of
Yeah.
laying the groundwork. You had already believed in residual income and
Mm-hmm.
you were bought in on this industry. And yeah, it had kind of burnt you along the way and you had some healthy skepticism, but like that foundation was all laid. And then even in your belief
Yeah.
in health and wellness, like what a beautiful full picture story that now at this point in
Mhm.
your life you can look back and you can see like, okay, I can see how God was working all of this out.
Yeah,
So
it was totally that answered prayer,
yeah.
where I was praying for a way to help our finances and a way to help our health, because what we were doing for one of our kids, I couldn't do that for everybody because I didn't have enough money. I didn't have
Hmm.
enough money to heal the way that I wanted to. And,
Wow.
God provided this. And I thought, are you sure? Here,
Yeah.
this God, this is what you have for me.
Yeah. He's
But,
keep
he
walking
always
through the
knows.
doors, keep walking
Yep.
through the doors. And then you were able to help others. And so talk to
Yeah,
me about the others piece of this business and the relationship building and the community. That I think is something that people just maybe they see from the outside looking in. Like you see fun pictures posted at events or you see people going on retreats but to truly understand the community piece of this, it's like it's impossible to get from looking from the outside in. So talk to me about building
true.
relationships and community and just the people part of this business.
Oh my gosh, this is definitely, aside from the other companies, like I did have some friends in other ones, but I feel like here it's just a different kind of community, because everybody truly looks out for one another, and it's just genuine. It's genuine, and I love it. It was a way for me to have kind of a built-in community that moved with me every time I moved. So, because we've moved multiple times since I started my business, and every time, if you're familiar with military stuff, you move every 2 or 3 years,
Yeah,
And
that'd
one of
be
them was a
hard.
school. We were only there for one
Yeah.
year.
Wow.
That was where I started, actually. So 1 year in, and poof, we were gone. So it was a way for me to have that network already, in that community of people that were cheering me on, that wanted the best for me, and were praying for me behind my back, and like that kind of sisterhood that I had to take with me everywhere. And so it was such a relief, because I didn't realize how much that was missing in my life until then. So
Wow.
now I like to kind of create that more, because like now we're settled, right? We
Right.
are getting ready to build a house, and we're super excited, and we're here, and I want that community focus now to be more like an in-person thing. So I've been working on doing more like monthly gatherings, and we want to do things where we're giving back to the community and serving, and because like you said, that's what it's all about. It's all about helping others. So why not get together and do it? It's even more fun.
It is. It's so true. It's so true. Talk to me about success in your network marketing business. How do you measure success?
I feel like the best measurement for me is how many people I can help get what they want. Like when I'm helping someone else, whether it's they just wanted to feel better, great. I want to help you feel better. I feel, like I've helped you, and I feel amazing about that success for that person, and I love it. And if they maybe just need a couple $100 to have that left over at the end of their month, they have more money than month instead of the other way around. Like if that's what you need, and I can help you do that, I am so happy. And then, maybe it's the bigger picture. Maybe it's the time freedom and being home with your kids and doing the trips and traveling. And, you really, maybe you're craving that sisterhood or that higher sense of purpose, where you're like, well, I mean, I'm at home. It's great. I love being at home, but yeah, I kind of lost me along the way, right? Your mom, your wife, your whatever. You're like, but you don't have your own purpose anymore. And I felt like I'd lost that. So I like being able to kind of show people what that can look like for them too, and find their purpose. And I feel like that's the the best thing ever.
And this is you just summed up and you just defined the heart of the industry.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, you guys. Like, did you hear that? Allison's not like, well, I measure my success by my paycheck. I measure my success by how many free trips I get. I measure my success by, any of these external things. And that is the heart of this industry, is that the leaders, the true leaders, the people that are going to go on to make the biggest impact, leave the biggest legacy, their answer is going to be, my success is measured by me, by the lives that I impact along the way. So that's so beautiful. And I just feel like that reveals
Oh.
so much about, it just sums it up in such a beautiful way. So Allison, I have so
Thank you.
enjoyed this conversation. Thank you
Me
so
too.
much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. It's been fun.